Bro, we got Stephen Colbert, now we got Howard Stern show. It's all falling apart. What is legacy media gonna do? How do they survive? They used to be on top. What happened? Dude, COVID destroyed everything for these creepy fucking weirdo leftist freaks. Love it. Absolute cinema. What happened?
20-year run after the public watched Howard Stern completely lose his mind in the depths of Trump derangement syndrome and wokeness. The Howard Stern show.
Dude locked himself in his house for like, what was it, a year, 2 years, and just didn't leave at all because he was scared of getting COVID. That's fucking insane. Also, Penguin Zero's doing that. He might go out a little bit, but that's fucking insane. Why are you locking yourself in your house? At least he's doing some farm work.
Is set to be canceled. SiriusXM is not renewing their contract with Howard Stern, and comes as no surprise, it's just because there's no incentive for them to keep going because his audience.
And honestly, who's paying for SiriusXM besides like Bill Labonte?
Has dropped off a cliff, and this also comes on the heels of the decision to cancel Stephen Colbert. He and others in legacy media have lost the place that they once held in the culture.
Yeah, it says the source compared the cancellation to Stephen Colbert, saying that it's
I heard him talking about it on Timcast.
Too high a cost.
Yep.
And he had a 5-year, $500 million deal with SiriusXM. Now, it is true that it's not like he pockets all of that money that goes to pay just an army of writers and producers. I think what it was like somewhere between 77 and 200 employees.
That is why.
It rings the same bell as Stephen Colbert in The Late Show. That's too much money for a show like that people can just do in their garage with just like 4 people, 5 people.
The core on-air producing team is like 25 to 35 people, and the full show, like when you count clipping and all that stuff, 70 to 120 people. And one thing said as many as possibly 95 writers and producers.
Okay.
Take away all the degeneracy, and Ethan Klein is the new Howard Stern. The H3 podcast is the Howard Stern show, but minus degeneracy. That's what happened. And it's not just Ethan Klein, it's others too. They kind of just like Howard Stern show split into 5 people, just random 5 people on the internet. There's just a bunch of podcasts that do the same thing, but honestly better because it's more modern and it's not an old guy.
Am I just not aware of the work that goes into it, or am I correct in thinking like that's just bloat? Like that's just way too many people involved in one show.
Well, we operate at like the other end of the spectrum.
I know, but like he could make do with like 50.
Yes.
He could make do with like 50 employees involved in that.
He's like,
not
no, we could keep
200.
the lights on. But look, if I'm going to assume, like, I know he has Trump derangement syndrome, but I'm going to guess that he doesn't want to have to fire a bunch of people.
True.
So he's probably not going to
because he's such a good guy.
I'm just saying, like, if you work long enough with enough people, unless you're a sociopath, I'm sure some of these people matter to him. At least a couple of them, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Howard Stern is a bit of a sociopath, and we'll get into.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid to think that way, though. Because you don't want to fire a bunch of people when you're bleeding money because you feel like you're going to be a bad person if you fire them. But if you let the whole thing collapse, then nobody's got a job.
We will.
We have a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. I got to hang out with a
the whole thing collapsed. Now nobody's got a job.
Retired A&R guy a couple of years ago. I got a great education on how risky the music business is and how many bets on talent don't work out. It's like investing in risky stocks.
Yep.
You got to be independent. Just be independent. Everything independent. Don't sign up with one of these evil companies because you're looking for quick fame.
Yeah, because there's so many things that can go wrong. I mean, not just, the A&R guy picks the wrong band, or they don't have a hit, or they just can't get along as a band, or the 2 most creative. That's a very common one. The 2 people that are actually the most creative. Like, there'll be a guy that's the songwriter, and then the singer.
Yeah, now, like, the real artists, they just are independent on YouTube and places. They just do their own thing because they don't need anybody else but themselves to be posting things. It's only the mediocre artists who get picked up nowadays because they're not good enough to just go indie. That's why the radio sucks. That's why pop music sucks. That's why you hear it everywhere. Absolutely everywhere, because they're trying desperately to get into the ears and the minds of the youth and everybody else who would possibly be a fan. To buy into it, to buy the music, buy the ads, to buy the products.
They'll get along for a little while, but then they won't be able to get along, and then you lose your singer or you lose your primary songwriter, and you can't get that magic back. There's so many things.
Yep, and then you blame everything except for what the actual reason is. Linkin Park.
That can go wrong.
Yeah.
So the idea of it's just as simple as, oh, you know, the label will just make them, like that's not the truth. Like,
it's always risky with creative people too, because they're emotional and unpredictable.
Absolutely.
Think about the Joe Rogan deal. If we're to compare the influence of the two, who has more of an influence over the culture, Joe Rogan or old decrepit Howard Stern? And you think about the Joe Rogan deal was $250 million over multiple years. The Spotify, he at least got to keep the revenue, like he got access to his YouTube channel again, but it's like to say that they have the same level of influence is insane.
We have a 20 from Grunmeister. When did Grace up? Also, that cringe kid was on Tosh.0 like 15 years ago.
I've been watching old Tosh.0 stand up. It's actually quite funny.
I forgot who Grace Vanderwall was when I was looking at the picture of her now.
I used to hate him because he was like absolutely everywhere, and he was all of the reruns on Comedy Central, and I was just like, all right, I'm tired of this guy. But I've come back around. I like Daniel Tosh, and I like his little podcast thing he's got going on, which I only watched the clips, but I like it. It's funny.
Oh, and then I Googled her. I was like, who is this chick? And I Googled her, and I'm like, oh, I remember that child.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I remember that like 7-year-old girl when she was like on whatever America's Got Talent.
She was like on like X Factor or something.
Yeah, or something. And she was great too. I was like, this kid's awesome, man.
Yeah.
She's gonna be huge someday. So
Howard
I'm glad
Stern,
that she didn't turn into a garbage can.
Howard Stern has shrunk from 20 million listeners when he was on radio to now somewhere around 125,000 listeners, which is...
I was gonna try and pause it and try and take a guess, but that was way lower than the guess that I was gonna make. I was gonna make like $750K, but no, 125,000.
Not too shabby if you're a small YouTube channel. It is
How much money? How much money were they paying him?
Too shabby if you're
hiring
getting paid
hundreds of
employees,
your
right?
Operation. Well, I have a
unsustainable
question. Is this a case of get woke, go broke?
I mean, is it?
According to some,
I don't think so. I think it's a case of not knowing where everything is, falling out of line with what things are now, and trying to keep with the old ways, because the old ways is what you know. It's what worked in the past, and you don't want to have to take the time, take the energy to learn anything new. And they've given up. These people have kind of given up. They're just like grasping at straws, desperately trying to do the things that they've always done, and they can't anymore because everything's changed, everything's new, everything's different.
This tweet says, last year Howard Stern said that he hated everyone who voted for Donald Trump and demanded that they stop listening to his show.
I definitely think that the TDS didn't help, but I think that's probably like 5% of the problem.
See, that's the big one. Like, there's a difference between, like, hating an opinion or hating a politician or a person and then saying, like, if you don't like my stuff, don't watch.
Thank you, guys.
Like...
Well, I don't think that what happened here is, like, Howard Stern had this huge audience of Trump supporters that immediately left his audience. Like, it's more a symptom of the media landscape changing over time, and Howard Stern was
and they're just not getting on board with the changes. They're trying to stick to the legacy.
Gonna get left behind in the dust regardless.
Steady decline.
He didn't do himself any favors, though, when he interviewed Joe Biden last year prior to Biden dropping out of the race. And this video shows Howard Stern just nonstop.
Yeah, this is like the equivalent to people who watch shows and they never watch the ending of a show. Because if they stay on the episode before the last episode, then the show never ends. It stays the same, right? And you never get that ending. There's never a conclusion and the world can go on. But you get left behind, bro, you don't know what happens. People will talk to you and you'd be like, I have no idea. I didn't watch the last part. I checked out because I wanted it to go on forever. It is the same thing.
Glazing Biden and not even barely letting Joe Biden talk.
Dude, like, who wants to look at this guy and have him tell you how to think and feel? Like, really?
Like, he was
Well,
barely
they probably
even letting
told him to interject.
He was barely even letting the guy reply to anything he was saying. Let's take a look.
Not only were you a star football player, but you were a lifeguard. I mean, you
star football player.
You really and you were the only white guy who was lifeguarding in this
he looks like a wax statue.
Black community, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you were the one guy.
I was.
Your family is pretty. Again, this goes to my point about, you know, the president is the father of
Are you just
our
gonna
country.
blaze him the whole
That's
time? I didn't watch this. When did this happen? What the fuck?
something we all say.
No, we don't.
And I think
Well,
your
you have daddy
family
issues,
is so
Howard.
extraordinary because of the way they've conducted themselves and how they are with you.
Biden's just on
that
another
I feel
planet.
you have a lot to give to the presidency. These are my feelings. It's pretty amazing family. And
The CIA super amphetamines haven't kicked in yet. And he's
Biden's just like, yeah.
I'm proud of it.
I submit for your approval that when you have a loving family like that, you got a lot to give because you get
the
so much
Biden
from
family
them.
is very
You're
loving.
the kind of leader I love.
Well,
Very loving.
Hunter likes to spread the love around.
Right.
Because we're lucky to have you.
Okay, you get the point,
You get the
though.
point.
That's
Yeah, that was
part of
bad.
why
That was
conservatives are
horrible.
clowning
Why'd you subject me to that?
on Howard Stern right now because he has just gone off the deep end in recent years. COVID really broke his brain as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was confirmed,
Dude, COVID, I think, broke about 35% of the population.
but he
And there's no going
refused
back.
to even walk
I
down
think we just have to move on and forget about all the people who are broken and just leave them behind.
the
nothing we
hallway
can do.
outside of his studio. If anyone was in the hallway without a mask on, he was definitely brain broken by COVID. And this is also a Grim Reaper meme
Yes.
that was posted. The Get Woke, Go Broke of corporate media that includes Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo, Joy Reid, Stephen Colbert, Howard Stern, and they're saying that The View is next.
I think the View's ratings actually stay pretty
I think they're good.
decent. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think the View is in any danger of going anywhere, if I'm being honest.
Which
Yeah, I don't think the View is going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Maybe the next election. If Democrats win, I think they stay around. If we get another Republican or an independent or something, I think they're done for.
kind of disproves the idea that you will go broke by going woke. It's not exactly
Yeah.
a one-to-one comparison.
No, it's thumbnail syndrome. It sounds great when you can get it down to a couple of words, but it's always more complicated than that.
And another reason why people are dancing on the grave.
There is a tendency, though. There is a pattern that you can notice with these kinds of companies that are woke. Not all of them, but they probably have those patterns. It's not gotten so bad to the point where it's going to collapse the show or collapse the company yet. But there's definitely a pattern with the ones who do collapse because of wokeness.
Of Howard Stern's show is because of his prior scandals in the past. Before he started acting like he was a moral paragon, he was kind of a sociopath, as I said before.
He was.
In the case of Dana Plato, she had just $1,000 in her bank account when she took her own life a day after being humiliated on the Howard Stern show on Mother's Day in 1999. Howard
That
Stern is a
sucks,
horrible
man.
person. I, for one,
Yep.
am glad his show is...
True, he is. I've seen a lot of the things that he's done on his show and a lot of things that he's done to people, and it's fucked up. Very fucked up. He is a garbage person, and he doesn't feel bad about any of it.
coming to an end.
I always remembered the story about him laughing at Selena after she died.
That's
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
the next clip. When Selena was shot to death, he played a song with the sound of gunshots in the background, just laughing at it.
Spanish people have the worst taste in music. They really do.
They don't like death.
No, they don't like any death. It's all like, you know, death. If we wait till nighttime, the dogs won't bite us when we sneak into tanks in California.
Those are back in
Limbo
his
under
shock
the
jock
border.
Our
days.
country is so bad we have to sneak out in the middle of the night. You wonder if dirty our money means nothing on the open markets in Europe? Government is corrupt.
All Howard really said was he didn't like the music. He really said nothing against Selena.
Yeah, all the woke people, they used to have takes like this, thoughts like this. They used to make jokes like this back in the 90s and early 2000s because it was acceptable. And then it became not acceptable in Hollywood, so they changed their tune and they went the opposite direction.
That's not what he said. He was talking very bad about Mexicans.
Yeah, and then, of course, the clip of Howard Stern in blackface is also circulating. I don't know if we should even show this.
Would we get in trouble for showing that?
We can show it. I don't think we should play the audio because he is using the N-word in this clip. Yeah. So
is that Justin Trudeau? Is this Justin Trudeau? It's like the same thing.
Yeah. And then Howard Stern is going to act like none of that shit ever happened.
So then my question
he's some sort of like paragon of virtue.
When he dies, does the media come for him the way they came for Hulk Hogan because of his racist tirade?
I would love to know. I guess we'll have to wait until Howard Stern dies to find out.
Because he didn't, embrace the Donald.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you see that?
And I think by the time he does die, I think it's going to be a long time. I think it's going to be a long time from now. Unless something crazy happens with, which, like, God forbid anything happens to him. I don't want nothing bad to happen to anybody. But, like, I think nobody's going to care. I think the sentiment online, the sentiment in real life, is that nobody's going to give a fuck. Nobody's going to actually care what anybody says anymore. Which I'm glad we're getting to this point. But we're also at the same time getting more censorship than ever. So I don't know. We'll see. Shit's getting weird, man. It's getting real weird.
Picture that somebody posted about the cloud that looks like Hulk Hogan flexing in Florida, of all places.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't know. I guess this is just a more like sign of what's to come.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it's not like, isn't Megyn Kelly on SiriusXM?
She was at SiriusXM up until sometime last year when she went independent. Now she has MK Media, I believe it's called, or it's Devil May Care Media. I haven't.
Yeah, all of these like internet radio services. I think they're going soon. I think the more people who just get internet in their car and just have internet on their phone and connect to their car through that, I think the more people who have that, the less there is a need for internet radio that you have to pay a subscription for monthly, and you don't really get anything that you want. It's limited.
Kept track, exactly.
So it's not Megyn Kelly Media, it's Devil May Care.
Or both, I don't know. But yeah, she went independent.
Devil May Care with a K.
I don't think they would have, I think they probably wanted to renew with her.
Yeah.
But she thought it's smarter to go independent, and this is the new meta. That's what everyone's doing.
Yeah, and now when I think of SiriusXM, if I'm being honest, I think of like, you just got a new car and they give you 3 months free and then they don't, and then nobody renews. That's what I think of when I think of SiriusXM.
And speaking of Megyn Kelly, she also learned to laugh at herself. She learned to, laugh at what Trump said about her back when, she was hosting the debates in 2016 and not be so self-important. And she adapted with the media landscape, unlike someone like Howard Stern. We have another 20 from Manic Mustache. Ladies, you...
Yeah, the era of people getting mad about people saying things about them, insulting them, that era is over. The era of being offended about absolutely everything. Yeah, we're done with it. Good riddance. People are finally growing a pair.
Usual, but apropos to Disney Channel SVU, Howard Stern was the kid that got shoved into lockers, just like every other shock jock. Can you confirm, Phil? Stern's just too old to keep up the facade of being edgy. Stay toxic, my friends.
I don't know that I can confirm or not.
Is that implying that you are a shock jock?
No, I'm not a shock jock at all.
Were you ever shoved into a locker?
No.
I think you'd remember that if that happened.
Never happened when I was like if it happened, I never saw that type of...
I only knew one kid that this kind of stuff happened to, and it mostly happened because this kid, like, he just kept trying to annoy us, and he knew we were going to do stuff to him. He knew we were going to put him in the trash can upside down. He knew that we were going to stuff him in a locker, and I think he liked it. Honestly, I think he thought that him being the punching bag, not literally, we didn't punch him or anything, It was just, we thought it was funny to bully the kid, and he thought it was funny too. He thought it was funny to be the bullyee, which we weren't really bullying him. We were kind of halfway friends with him. We'd bully him, but we'd also be like, hey man, hey, Darius. Let's call him Darius. And he'd be like, hey, you gonna shove me in a trash can today? And we'd be like, nope, not right now, because you don't deserve it right now. Maybe later, though. And he'd be like, oh, all right. That kid was fucking weird.
Movie inspired bullying.
I was definitely bullied when I was a kid. I was the smallest kid in class, so I was, I got beat up. Well, not really beat up, but like pushed around and bullied and stuff. But
never shoved into a
never
locker.
shoved into a locker. No.
I just want to know what Adam Carolla has to say about
I'm sure
this.
he'll have plenty to say.
He's talked plenty of shit about Jimmy Kimmel in recent years.
He'll probably have a more measured, funny.
Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, they're on their way out the door pretty soon. Because they've got shows similar to The Late Show, and it's just not going to work out with them.
But
I wonder what their contracts look like.
Opinion, because you'll have insight into the industry.
Jimmy Kimmel did the exact same thing that Howard Stern did. A lot of the same things, and was a shock jock, and was offensive and edgy. And then he now cries on national television about how evil Trump is.
Well, because Anthony, you can either go the Anthony Camilla route.
Yeah, the emotional manipulation. That's like the left's game. That's the insane leftist freak game. Emotional manipulation, lies, backtracking, staying quiet about actual problems, which also that's just lumped into lies.
Anthony Camilla is back, I guess. Yeah. He's got a syndicated show again.
Oh, okay.
And dude, so many of them are sexual deviants. It's crazy.
Which is awesome, in my opinion.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full...
Yeah, man, pop culture crisis talking about the important shit. Like Howard Stern show getting canceled. Woo! Let's go, man. The dominoes, they keep falling. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for all notifications.